Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Even though I'm under the weather, guys, so thanks to Max for the introduction. I am what you would say, what you would call a little bit tender, because this change of weather has really affected me. You don't need to be kind to me. I'm all good and I'm ready to rock and roll, and I hope you guys are as well. So, been a couple of weeks since I've jumped into the hot seat, and we've had some great sessions in between as well. And today's session is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be a great session looking at a couple of different things that Max mentioned in the contact that he dropped to you guys. So we're going to be looking at crafting the perfect email from subject line for the hook, essentially, as we like to call it, all the way down to the call to action. Then look at how we're going to build that into a workflow. So we connect the emails and set up the automation, and then hitting go, and then understanding how to track your results and what the results actually mean. So it's going to be a really, really good session. And we're going to try and get as much information as possible. So there'll be chances for you guys to ask any questions that I can answer for you in a little while. And so if you guys can hold on to asking questions for the sections that I actually open up the questions for you, that would be great. But then I will be checking in with you regularly as I go along, as to the understanding and exactly how you guys are doing. That's all good, Barry. I hate autocorrect as well. You should see some of the stuff that I write out, but I'm all good. I've just got a little bit of a runny nose and a little bit of a sore throat, but I'm a big boy, so I'll be putting my big boy pants on today, and we're gonna go through this material because I'm actually genuinely excited by it. Perfect. Okay, good. So this is obviously our Go High Level platform. It is all branded with our Ultimate Business System branding in there. We've got loads of extra stuff and extra support in there that makes it unique to the Ultimate Business System, okay? Which is where we support you through. So if you haven't done so already, you can actually get a 30-day free trial of the Ultimate Business System, which is great because what it will do is it will help you go through the learning as we go through it week by week. And whatever we actually talk about and teach you on these sessions weekly, you'll then be able to go and build into the system and actually activate and launch for yourselves as well. Okay, so it's a great way to learn and embed that learning by going through the learning and actually building it all out yourself, which is great. So here is our system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this up whilst I talk about a couple of things to do with emails, okay? So crafting the email, the perfect email, is actually quite an easy thing to do. And I think we get lost into the whole rigmarole of trying to write the perfect email, and we actually end up over egging the cake. But the thing with this and any other marketing strategy you guys employ is that if you keep it simple, the effectiveness of it will land with your customers, because we need to think of our customers as, people ourselves, like ourselves. We all get emails. We've all signed up to an email list, and we all know there are some emails that we love reading, some emails that we think are okay, and some emails that we just don't ever want to open ever again. And that's because of the way that they've been written to us before. And so we kind of shy away from opening up those emails because we just know the content's going to be super spammy, super salesy, not really giving us any kind of value in there. So it kind of teaches us not to open the emails. And we've all been there, right? So if we put ourselves in our customers' shoes and think of our customers like ourselves, it becomes really, really easy to write some really, really powerful and engaging email copy. As long as you keep your own voice or the voice of the business that you're doing it for in mind whilst doing so, it's actually quite an easy thing to do. You suddenly lost sound. Okay, let's just make sure everybody else has got sound there. Melvin, if you guys can hear me, the rest of you guys can hear me. I can see my sound bars going up and down, so I'm pretty sure that sound is working my side. It might just be something your side, but if you guys can give me a shout, yeah, perfect. Okay, so you might want to have a look at that, Melvin. Good sound from my side. Okay, perfect. So how do we write an email that gets opened? Well, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you've got a good subject line, because that really is the hook, right? It's the first thing people will see, whether they're on a desktop or whether they're on a mobile. Now, usually it will be on a mobile device, and we all know that our phones, whether they be an Apple or Samsung or anything else in between, they all show us a preview of the email. Some even show a bit more. They open up the email and they show you a bit more of the kind of body text in there. But most emails are displayed with the subject line, so you can see a slight preview of what is the subject line is, and also some of the body as well. So it's really, really important to make sure that the subject line, the hook, is catchy enough so that the person who's receiving the email opens the email, and it's really, really quite simple to do that. I'd recommend a couple of things. I'd recommend kind of making it personal, so using their name in there, which Go High Level allows us to do, and keeping it short, keeping it to about 40 characters there or thereabouts, because that is actually mobile friendly. So you want to try and get as much of your subject line into the mobile friendly format so that when it displays on a mobile, they can see all of it rather than just a snippet. Now, you also want to make sure that you spark curiosity in your subject line. You've got to kind of tickle their taste buds a little bit, right? Make them want to open the actual email that you're sending out to them. And it's really important to do this because otherwise your email is just going to get lost in that sea of sameness. People are going to kind of dismiss it, push it to one side, and not want to open it, right? You really, really, really want to avoid spammy words that kind of, slam your customers with offers, free, buy now, using any kind of monetary signs in there. And really want to think in terms of, what do they want, right? Not what you want to sell. Like what is the problem that they're looking to alleviate, or the problem that they've got right now, which they don't know that they need a solution for. And that's what you're there to provide for them. Okay, so as long as we keep that in mind, it's very easy to write great subject lines, great subject headlines, hooks for emails to get opened up. Now, where would we do this within the Ultimate Business System? Okay, so I'm going to show you by setting up an automation and an email at the same time. Okay, this is a very, very easy thing to do. Rather than break the process down into setting up an email and then adding it into an automation, I'm going to show you how to do this directly into the automation, which really, really helps because it shows you two things at the same time. Okay, now we would like to send an email. And emails can be sent for various different reasons. Okay, it can send out based on behavior, based on them filling out a form, or what we would call DBR, database reactivation, which is when you're trying to contact your customers again after a while, just to kind of reactivate your database, get them talking to you again, get them into the habit of opening up your emails, etc., etc. And any one of those can be built in using automations, because you can have different triggers. So I'm going to click on automation, and we're going to go to, don't know if I've got my test folder in here, I don't think I do, but we'll just create a new workflow by clicking on the big blue button in the top right hand corner. I'm going to go click on start from scratch. Now we're going to call this Vish email example automation. And of course, my spelling is absolutely terrible, so that one's done all right today. So we can choose a trigger. Now, like I said earlier on, just now, we can look at it being a form field, so we can get the automation to start once a form is submitted. If we're running ads, it could be once a lead form is submitted. And there's loads of other triggers that we can use. We can use if there's, a birthday reminder, if a tag changes, i.e. they do a certain behavior, and on the platform, if they've booked in an appointment, if the opportunity status in the pipeline changes. So they can have so many different triggers for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the trigger blank, because we can decide on what the trigger is later, or you can have a various number of triggers on there. So we are going to leave that one blank, but you get the idea. You can have any kind of trigger that off. Now let's just assume it's going to be a form being filled in. Okay. No, actually, let's change it. Let's just assume, for the purposes of this exercise, that we're going to do it based on a database reactivation. We want to send out an email to somebody so that we can re-engage with them and maybe tell them about something that we're selling to them, right? So we want to give them an offer, but we want to mask the offer within the body of the email. Okay, like maybe it's a call, maybe it's selling them a subscription to the Ultimate Business System. It could be anything. Okay. Now, the way that we do this is by clicking on the plus button, and then we can just go either searching further down and find email, which is over here, or we can just type in email in the search bar at the top, and it brings up send email. Now, you would have your email settings set up within your Ultimate Business System platform, and you would have your from name and your email already set up, which we already do. So if we just leave them blank, it sends them out from the default values that we've set in the system. Now, here's a great thing. We've got to write a subject line here. Now, this could be anything, but remember, we want to try and keep it within about 40 characters, and we want to have a little bit of personal touch in there. So maybe using the name of the person receiving it, and we want to show them a bit of a benefit as well. Now, there's 4 areas that we can actually use in terms of formatting that would really help us get an open on the email. Okay, so we want to have a look at what we can do with this. To get the email open, we can either ask a question format, so ready to double your leads in 7 days. We can even try a curiosity angle. This one could save you £1,200 a month. This one change could save you £1,200 a month. Sorry. We could even have a bit of urgency in there. Closing tonight. Spots closing tonight. Whatever it is. Are you in? Just something like that, based in a question, so there's a bit of urgency around it, or a little bit of social proof. Okay, so those are the 4 main areas that you want. You want question, curiosity, urgency, and social proof. And social proof could be like, how Vish cut his workload in half with AI, or how Vish cut his workload in half using the Ultimate Business System. And again, these are just 4 examples, but we've avoided spammy words like free, buy now, etc., etc. Okay, and that's the structure of the hook line. We want to basically create a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of social proof in there, maybe some urgency, some questions that they want to answer for themselves, and we want them to then open the email. So how Vish cut his, this is the one I'm going to go with, workload, see, spellings are coming out, in half with AI, or the Ultimate Business System. It's roughly under 40 characters. Looks good on there. We can even personalize this, so we can say, putting it into somebody's name. So if we've got a contact within our database, we can click on the mail tag, click on contact, and go first name, and it puts in a merge field there. So it'd be like, obviously this is going to say Vish twice, but let's just use a name. So we've got Hazel, how Vish cut his workload in half with the Ultimate Business System, and that would actually have the name over there. Now, with Ultimate Business System, we can use templates that are pre-set up. We can actually save templates in the system, but we're going to write this out as a text-based email. Now, I find that text-based emails work better, because what they do is because you don't have so much formatting, HTML formatting in them, it cuts past the spam filters that mail clients usually have. Google, Hotmail, Yahoo, etc., etc. will have spam filters where they check emails are not overloaded with HTML formatting, which would basically make them think that the email is coming from an organization that is trying to sell you something. And you'll find that these ones always end up in the promotion tab. So I like to keep my emails blank. However, you can use the drag and drop editor to create your own template, put a logo in there, put your images in there, etc., etc. But I'm going to give you the advice of the way that I do things, and I do it using just a plain text editor over here. And that's how we're going to do it, right? Now, we've done a great subject line. Okay, so we've got a good subject line over here. We've personalized it. We've got a bit of social proof in there as well. And now we are looking at the opening line within the email. Okay, now the opening line of the email is quite important because it's something that captures the attention of the person once they've opened up the email. Remember, everything is just designed to get them to the next stage, and the subject line gets them to open up the email. So, and I know we're pretty much as humans all the same. When we open up an email, we'll skim the first line, and so making it relatable, making it like just humanizing it, and making it a bit intriguing is really, really important. Okay. And the way that I like doing it is a couple of different ways. You can either use a question or a pain point, right? Now, we've got here a bit of social proof how we cut workload down in half using the Ultimate Business system, sorry. Or we can use a story hook, like, last month, a client told me he was wasting, 60% of his time um, in admin and paperwork. And he never knew he would be able to save on this time, or he never thought he'd be able to reclaim this time back. Dot dot dot. Right now, all of a sudden, we've got a little bit of a story hook in going, a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of curiosity, and we're getting them to read the rest of the email. So it now becomes important for them to know what the rest of the email says. Okay, I'm going to go with a question or pain point because I like question and pain point emails, but those are two different scenarios you could use for opening line situations. You guys all following with that so far? Just give me a quick yes in the chat box, please. Yep, perfect. Thanks, Kirsty. Tony, thank you so much. All clear, Catherine. Perfect. Awesomes. Okay, I'm going to carry on. I know you guys are going to be replying to the boxes, but I'm going to be carrying on. So here we're going to personalize the email. So we're going to start off with a hi, a hey, however you guys write your emails out. Mine was always hi. I then put in the contact's first name because I want to say hi, Vish, or hi, Owen, hi, Catherine, hi, Michael. So this email becomes personalized to them, and we are going to start off with a pain point. So cool. So again, this is just thinking off the top of my head. I haven't really prepared any kind of body content for this, but I'm sticking to a format and we can always come back and change this later on. Okay. So ever wondered why 70% of your time is spent doing repetitive admin tasks in your business? Yeah, I have actually. I do far too much admin. So how do I get rid of it? And then we move on to the body, the actual value and the story itself. So here's a couple of pointers for the body, which is kind of the bulk of what you'll be writing out to your customers. Okay. And we're going to be using a combination of different things here. You will have some social proof in there. You want to make it conversational, so those things are important. But if we look at it from a top-down perspective, we want to make sure we keep the paragraph short. 1 to 3 lines maximum. So it becomes like a conversation, almost like we have to write like we're speaking to them, as opposed to writing like a brochure. You want to use, and this is something, once you jump into more sessions with myself, you'll see that this is what I use a lot of especially when I'm designing like funnel landing pages, or any other kind of interactions with customers. I use a 3-stage process. I call it problem, agitate, and solve, or solution. Okay. So problem, agitate, and solution is all about stating the problem that people have, agitating it. So really kind of, pushing the point home and making them feel the pain, for love of a better way of putting it. But you have to get somebody into that problem state and then showing them a solution. Okay, so problem, agitate, solve, or problem, agitate, solution. It's a methodology that's used a lot in marketing, and you can actually find loads of information about it online as well. If you were to type that in and go and want to read on that sort of stuff, you can do. But that's what we're going to be using for this body section over here. You also then want to layer in your social proof as well, maybe a couple of testimonials, some stats, or some case studies. And remember, always write like you speak. Don't go to brochure mode over here, because you don't want to come across as being too salesy, right? That's where you end up losing your client. And generally, as a rule of thumb, you want to give a lot of value here, right? So you want to make sure you give at least like, 70 to 80% value and have like a 20, maximum 30% of the actual email should be your pitch, right? So you should be looking at like teaching, inspiring, or revealing something useful to your end user, okay? The person that's going to be reading your email. Okay, so problem we could have here again, just kind of, we're talking about the AI stuff over here. So most small businesses miss 20 to 30% of their inbound calls. Break that's the body part of it done. And again, like the more you write, we just picked a subject out from my side today, but you understand that what I'm doing here is making it a conversation. I've kept everything between 1 to 3 lines. And as you can see at the start, I'm asking questions more. And then I'm making statements that are agitating and delivering a bit of a pain point for the customer. And then as I go further down, my lines and my paragraphs get longer. And you want to do that because you want to get them in the habit of reading your emails, and you want them to start kind of scanning the top, scanning through it quickly, and then as they get into the body of it, then they can start reading more and more. So here we've given them a solution. I've got a solution here. It's a 30-minute free call to show you how you can implement AI into your business today. Okay. How much value have I given? Well, I've given them value around statistics. Most small businesses miss 20% of the calls. 80% of those calls won't call back. That's lost revenue. So as well as agitating the problem, I'm also giving them a bit of value because I'm giving them statistics. And then the little pitch happens at the end where I'm going, here's a little bit of a call, right? And here's the ultimate business system, etc., etc. Now, call to action and nudge. You can put a button in here as well when you design the emails out using the design HTML version. But I like to just keep a link in here because it's nice and sweet and simple. Now, your call to action, which I've kind of included over here, we've touched upon it in this part of the email, is actually, it's quite soft, right? I'm offering a call. And I like to keep soft call to actions in there, especially for the first email that you're putting in there. You don't really want to go in too hot and too hard because you really kind of scare your customers off, right? We've all been there. We've all seen those emails. They're going straight for the kill at the start. We're like, oh my God, all they're trying to do is sell to us. That's all they want. They want to sell, 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 sell. And we don't want to do that, okay? We want to keep it quite soft, but we can use direct and we can use urgency-based the call to actions as well. Okay, so what I would do over here is I would put in a link saying if you want to book in a call, oh, here we go. Click here to book in a call with me or my team right now. You can highlight that. We can drop in a link. Let's just click on the add link button. We can put the URL where we want them to go to, and we keep the text the same. So then it will just appear with a line underneath it, which is great because it's in there, and they can, have the call booking link just displayed in line with the text. What you can also do to make that stand out a bit is add some brackets onto it so it stands out a bit more. Maybe put it into bold so it stands out a bit more. And then leave that in there so people know that it's a link, right? Because as well as the underline, it will have there the bold and the brackets on there as well. Now, because this is the first email and I want to keep it as a soft call to action, I'm going to leave that there. I'm not really going to over egg the cake with this one because I don't want to scare my customer. And then we want to look at ending the email. Okay, we want to end like a real person would do, not a sales brochure or an AI would. And we want to remind them that they can book in a free call. There's no obligation, right? There is no obligation to buy anything on the call, and I will not be trying to sell you into something. We are going to look at how AI can transform your business, transform your business and save you time and ensure your customers, all your customer calls are answered instantly. Again, that value comes back into it and reminding them of why the call is important. And then you should end it like you would do. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Too many exclamation marks. Vish. And then that's it. You leave it there. Okay. That's your closing done. You signed off personally and you've left it in a really, really good and positive way. Okay. What you can do and what people do, and I've seen this done, I try to shy away from it, is put a PS in there and go, here is that link for you to book in a call again. Dot, dot, dot. I try and shy away from this in the first email, but you can use it maybe in your second and third email. Once you're bringing a bit more kind of direction and a bit more urgency into your emails, you can use it there. But I'd like to leave it off the first one. I don't think it's necessary to do that. You've given them the link. You want it to be really, really soft, and you don't really want to scare your customer into thinking you're way too eager into booking that call in, okay? And once you've done that, you then click on save. There we go. It's all saved in there. Now, if I click back on this email here, it shows me everything that I've done is saved in there. We can open this up a little bit. All the body of the text is in there. Remember, that was a link. We haven't put a link in there, but that was a link that we put in there. And it's all saved in the email body there, which really good. Now, we can send a test email out to ourselves just to make sure, test it, make sure it's working properly. But I'm going to click on save. And we're going to cancel this down, so it closes it down. That will go away in its own time. Now, you can see over here in the top right-hand corner, you've got a draft or publish slider button. Now, remember we had a trigger. The trigger could have been, we're adding people into this workflow to send it out to them. It could be in a form fill, it could be anything. Because this is not published right now, no matter who I add to this workflow, it's not going to send this email out to them. Okay, so we must ensure once we've done an automation that we click on save after we have clicked on publish, and that is now live to go. So if I was to add a contact in here or set a trigger point for a form fill, etc., this would then automatically send the email out to people that are being pushed into this workflow or have done the necessary trigger completion to then be added into the workflow. Okay, so it's really important to make sure that once we've done all the great work in writing the email, we can click on that button as well. So I'm going to unpublish it quickly. I'm going to save it. And that box will come up showing me that the workflow has been saved. Now, what we can do is we can actually daisy chain this and add more emails into this workflow, because it's all great sending one email out, but we can send out a couple of emails. We can use a delay in the middle as well. So we can add a wait. So we click on the plus button, add a wait in there, and we can say we can either wait minutes, hours, or days. I'd like to do days. Okay, so I'd like to have 2 days. Actually, that's the first one, so let's do 1 day if they haven't responded. There we go. The save comes in to show that we've changed it. We can then add in another email. So type in an email. Then we can just do whatever we want. This might not save it, but I'm just going to type in some random text here just to save it in there. You can see that the email has now been saved in. And then we can add in another wait. So the first wait time was 1 day. Let's go to add in another 1 day wait. So this means that we send out emails 1 day spaced apart. Save this action, and we can send out another email over here. So click in here, type in email, go to email. This is great. Again, just type in some random text, otherwise it won't let me save it. And now you can see we've got an email sequence. We've got the first email, which we've obviously put the content in for. We wait 1 day. We then have email 2, which again, we don't have the content for, but we can write the content for. Then we have email 3 after the 3rd day wait. Email 3 goes over here. So this is how you can set up an email automation to fire out. Now, remember, our emails are firing out and they're offering a call to be booked in to our end user. So if they book in a call after the first email, you don't want to send the second or the third email to them because that will just make us look really silly, right? You agree, right? If you booked in a call and you get another email in the same sequence offering you a call to be booked in, it makes you look silly as a business owner, right? We can all see how that could be quite negative on us. So what we want to do is we want to put in what we call a goal stage at the end, okay? And what this will do is once we put the goal, so I'm just going to add a goal in, a goal event, and we will select a type of goal. So the goal that we want to select is a appointment status. Okay, so an appointment has been booked, okay? So it just takes it a second to bring that information up. So it just takes a second. You guys all with me so far? Do you understand why we'd want to put a goal status in there as well? Just give me a yes or give me a thumbs up, give me a wave in the box just to make sure that you guys are all here. You understand that? Perfect. So we'd select the group calendar. We'd select the appointment status. So we knew, yeah, would be a new appointment. And we then set the behavior around it. If the contact reaches its goal action without meeting its conditions, end the workflows. That means if we reach the end of this, and the goal, the automation, the goals at the bottom, and they haven't booked in an appointment, what do you want to do? Do you want to end the workflow? We have a different couple of options. We can send them to continue anyway if the goal is halfway through, or we can wait until the goal is met, which is basically a wait stage. And that means you don't need to put goals at the end of your automations. You can actually have them halfway. And then after this, I could have another sequence that would say, you haven't booked in a call, what's going on? Do you not love me? Is it something I said? Was there something I did? I'm sorry, take me back. Like, you know, I joke about that, but it's something you won't forget. But you can actually have the sequence continue on past a goal as well. But I'm just going to save it here. And you can see that that goal event's now been saved. We're going to publish it. We're going to save it. That box will come up to say it's been saved. And now you can see if after this email they book in an appointment in that calendar, which I would have linked into the email, they're going to jump straight to the goal. It means they won't receive these two emails. If they book in an appointment on the second email, they'll jump past the third email and they'll go straight to goal. And well, obviously, if they do after the third email, they're going to end up at the goal anyway, and they'll be kept there until we decide what we want to do with them. We can have them end the workflow and be pushed out the workflow. So that is how we set up an email and a workflow automation for people in the Ultimate Business System, which is, yeah, all good. Okay, cool. So now we're going to look at a couple of stats as well. So we don't have stats to show you because the stats that we have are obviously from our existing campaigns, and we have details of clients, etc., on there. So I don't really want to bring that up and show that on the screen. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the stats that we have available to us once people go through this automation. It's available to you right here from within the automation. So if I was to right click, if I was to click on these three dots on the right hand side, click on the email. Start that again. If we click on the email and go to statistics, we will be able to see the total number of emails being sent, the percentage of the emails being delivered, the percentage being opened, the percentage being clicked, the percentage being replied to, the percentage that would have bounced, which means that the email addresses are not recognized, the percentage that would have unsubscribed, etc., etc. Okay. Now these are really important statistics. Now, if we click on View Details, we're able to see this in a like a tabular format. And then if we were to click on every single individual section, it would then bring out all the emails that are within that section over there. Now, really very important. And again, statistics are great to understand what's going on with your email. We want to see if your emails are delivering, first of all, okay? If they're not delivering, then there could be a problem with your email setup. It could be a problem with your domain. Your domain could be blacklisted. Your emails are not being delivered straight through to the actual recipient. Okay, so these statistics give you key indicators which allow you to understand what's going on. Your open rate, again, is important. Your open rate shows if your audience, the people that you're emailing, are engaged or not. Now, If they're not opening your emails up, it could be for a number of reasons. It could be because they're ending up in your in their spam filters, or they are not reacting to your subject line. So it gives you information to change certain areas of the emails. And once they're opened, if there's a link to click in there, you will see who's clicking and who's not clicking your emails. You'll also then be able to see who's replied to emails. So this, unless you're asking for a reply openly, this should always technically be zero. Unless they're replying back to you, telling you to take you off the database, that will always be zero. Unless you are obviously asking them to reply back. Your bounce is really important as well. Bounced, there's two types of bounces: a hard bounce and a soft bounce. Soft bounce could be there's an issue with the mailbox at the time. A hard bounce is when the email addresses are not recognized, or they're just not accepting emails, or you're blocked from them. So you would break that information down by looking at it through here, by clicking on the bounced tab. And then you have unsubscribed. Unsubscribed is great. Gives you an overall feeling and like temperament of your target audience, the people that you're emailing. Because remember, you'll have these email addresses within your database, right? Now, if people are unsubscribing through email, it could mean a number of things. It means that they don't want to engage with you anymore because of they've either bought the product, or they've engaged with somebody else in regards to the product or service that you're offering, or you're sending them out way too many emails and coming across as spammy. And there's no one size fits all here. It's just an indication of people, reacting to the emails that you sent out. So the advice that I have around this area is just to keep an eye on your unsubscribe number. And, if it starts to creep up, and you'll always get some unsubscribes because that's what people do. But if that number starts to creep up, then what you want to do is you want to look at what kind of emails you're sending out to your list, and see if there's any kind of modifications or amendments you can make to the way that you're contacting them, subject lines, the content that you're providing, et cetera, just to make sure that whatever you're doing is indeed correct and it's not being too spammy, it's not going against what they signed up for initially, etc. And that's how you look at the stats. And those stats will be shown to you for every automation and every email that you generate out for your customers, and it will be displayed in this section over here. And that's where you would find all the stuff that you need, which is really important to know where that is, because it allows you to see what's going on. Great stuff. And that brings us to the end of what we're talking about. I thought it would be a quick session today, but it's not. There's obviously a lot of information that we need to cover when it comes down to emails, etc. So at this point, I'd like to open up the floor for you guys, see if there's any questions that you may have based on what we've discussed today. Again, quick question from Michael here. If the prospective customer books the call quite quickly, I guess we then have to go back to the workflow and make amendments. Can you please review the steps with various scenarios and explain how the system manages this automatically? You don't need to amend it, Michael, because what you're doing here is you're then, and I'm going to share the screen with you guys again, is if you're sending this email out to book in a call, they're going to have to receive the first email. Okay, remember this email over here. Let's just close the stats down. This email over here contains the link. So this email has to go out before they can book in a call with you. Okay. Once that call is booked, it then jumps over the second and the third email, and it goes straight to the goals scenario over here, and it doesn't send out those two. Now, if they come into this situation and this automation, and they've already got a call booked in, it still won't trigger it, because what this goal is looking for a jump as an event. So when a new call gets booked in, it then takes the person out of this automation and straight down to the end. So there would be no amendments that you need to make to that, Michael. It's based on that system picking up the call being booked in and then taking the customer right down to the end, so they don't receive any more emails. Does that make sense? Anthony, what's the best way to get an email list? Offer something in exchange for something. Customers will always exchange their email address for something of value, giving them a lead magnet, giving them something else that they want to download from you, is the best way to go about it. And we have obviously loads of information in the Ultimate Business System. Yeah, essentially an ethical bribe. I love that. I love that terminology. It is definitely an ethical bribe. You want to offer them something of value where they determine that it's more valuable to them than their email just staying with them. And then you then get them to sign up using a form or a landing page that you've built using the Ultimate Business System. Karen says, no, thank you. Great session. Thank you, Karen, for the feedback. Any other questions? Cool. Okay, we'll give it a couple of moments. If you guys want to ask any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them for you in relation to today's situation. How you guys found the session, etc., etc. Would be great to get some feedback in the actual chat box as well. As always, if you haven't already done so, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the page so you can see all the updates when we post videos, etc., etc. Really important to do that so you guys are kept up to date with what is going on in terms of the videos being uploaded. If you haven't already done so, sign up to the Ultimate Business System. You get a 30-day free trial. It's great to follow along as you are watching the videos because it gives you something to work in and get the stuff built out as well. So yeah, if you don't have any more questions, thank you so much for your time. I'll leave the screen open for just a couple of moments, allowing you guys to just log off and do what you guys need to do. But thank you very, very much. Can we post the YouTube link? Yeah, I can do, mate. Give me 1 second. YouTube link, which we posted earlier, is there. You go, Tara. Awesome. Thanks for your time, guys. You have a lovely, lovely day. And I'll be feeling better. And I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks when I jump back on for my next session. It would be great to interact with you then. And in the meantime, please go and like the YouTube channel. Leave your comments on the videos as well. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Speak to you guys soon.